Ev, how we doing?
Oh, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. No complaints today. How about yourself?
Well, it's not a complaint. It's more of it was a celebration that I realized wasn't actually a complaint. It was 88 today in Charlotte, which was like the greatest news of all time. Until I realized that 88 is still fucking hot. We got a little bit of rain this morning, which really cooled things down. It was incredible, but the rain has since stopped, and now it's just a muggy mess outside. I was going to try to be responsible today and maybe go for a run and do something good for my body after the tumultuous weekend that I had. But I don't know if that's in the cards for me anymore. It's just like it's a muggy balm here. It's terrible. We always say in the winter how excited we are for some of the warmer weather, longer days. I'm ready for the fall. Not just because of football, but I'm ready for the fall.
Yeah, no. So I was a little productive this morning. I got up and went for a run. With that being said, this is pre 8:30 in the morning in Dallas.
Yeah.
So I have a rule: anything after 10 a.m., it's just a no go. It's useless. You're not going to feel good. You're just going to feel gross, and then you feel sick for the rest of the day. You legitimately feel sick. You dehydrate yourself too early, and you're just playing recovery all day. It's the heat's too much. I don't know how people just function outside of the heat. I sweat too much to be remotely okay with it.
Yeah, it's gotten bad. And I won't lie. I mean, football season coming up right around the corner. I was listening to Pardon My Take yesterday, and the Hall of Fame game's next Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to hear that. See, here's the thing. I'm not a
preseason guy.
I'm not really a preseason guy.
I'm not either, but I like to. It's in the news again.
Yeah, it's like check mark. It's like checkpoint. It's like, okay, just one step at a time. I'm kind of slowly climbing that ladder. But that's good to know. I've been hearing like 4 or 5 Saturdays is kind of where I've been at. I've been hearing that.
Well, next Friday is August 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, next Friday is August 1st. So, you know what happens in August? Football happens in August. We were joking, like obviously the week 0 games don't really mean anything, but I would have killed for a Vanderbilt Hawaii Friday night game this past Friday. Like absolutely killed. I was sitting on my couch with one of our buddies, Stubby, watching the WNBA skills challenge and 3-point shootout, which was entertaining, but I would have liked some football.
Yeah, I think I texted you about that too. Like the things I would have done for just any football game.
Yeah.
Even like a high school football game, I probably would have been okay with. Like high school football. I'm just at the point now, it's a dog days of summer where I am just so ready for football to be back. It's kind of like once July 4th happens, I get like one more week and then it really just starts hitting me.
Yeah.
I have my Red Sox kind of playing okay baseball. The bigger news out of the Red Sox camp is the 2 young guys, Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony, 2 22, 21-year-old guys, objectively pretty good-looking dudes. Just they're getting spotted every other night with new chicks around the Boston area, and that's exactly what I want my Stars doing. So that's some positive news out of the Red Sox camp. But
Roman Anthony would be a hell of a boxer name.
Yeah,
like I could hear it in that announcer voice, Roman Anthony.
And so that's good news. I'm enjoying watching the Red Sox, but it's only baseball. Like baseball is more of, in my opinion, a casual watch. You'll throw it on as, hey, maybe I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing something else, maybe working a little bit in the evenings. It's not a I'm just going to watch this all day and I'm just going to be addicted to it. It's just not there.
I hear you. And I had to pay the bookie out today pretty much over baseball losses, and I don't like baseball like that. So I think I'm officially taking a books hiatus until pigskin time.
I've kind of been on a books hiatus until about last weekend. I was trying to be financially responsible, and I got some good financial news last weekend. So that probably is going to change pretty here quickly. So
yeah, I hear you. Well, speaking of food, I think that's what so while you're cooking up dinner, watching baseball, you've been chefing this week. I know we mentioned last week that you didn't have any travel coming up. So tell the team what you've been chefing, because it looked pretty good.
Just kind of doing a little bit of everything. A lot of steak. I'm always a big steak guy, so I've done a few steaks. Actually, going to be cooking a steak up tonight. But on Sunday, I have a problem where if I go to the grocery store and something seems intriguing, like fuck it. So I saw a 6-pound leg of lamb roast. And let me preface this with I didn't know how much it weighed when I purchased it. I didn't know. And then once the guy starts weighing it, you see the number. 6.5 pounds for one guy. I live by myself.
I was about to say, you live with a bunch of people, right? You live with a whole unit of people.
Don't get me wrong. I have so many leftovers in the fridge. It was absolutely delicious. I've just been snacking on the last couple of days. So that's been good. I've been on a big scallops kick lately. Scallops are sort of, good. So doing that, but it's just been nice to be back in the kitchen and cooking. Working from home, I get, usually 2 full meals a day of cooking. So that's been nice. I will say I'm ready for the travel again. I'm getting sick of doing the dishes. The dishes are really becoming a problem. I walked into my kitchen this morning and I'm like, shit, my floor is a mess. Just the residual buildup. So looking forward to not be dealing with that here pretty soon. But I really enjoyed the time back in the kitchen. And one last week, kind of good meals ahead of me.
I have you with these leftovers. I'm assuming leg of lamb when you roast it like the way you did. Does it shred off like almost like a pulled pork?
Yeah, it basically just melts.
Dude, you should do a little leftover leg of lamb grilled cheese.
That's not bad. I actually have some American cheese in the fridge too.
Yeah, whip that up.
Honestly, what I've been doing, it just kind of like lame, but it's like I'll just walk by my fridge and I'll just take a handful and eat it cold. Like I got so much meat. I got so many meat to get through, much meat together. I'm like, gosh, shit, I gotta start working. But yeah, so no, it's been good. But I love the grilled cheese move. I'm gonna have to actually kind of play that in. That'll be a good lunch tomorrow.
I shame on me. I'm just now seeing your shirt. That's quite a look you got going on there.
Yeah, I first off, just to give everyone a little bit of preface here, Helen Keller didn't write 12 books. That's a lie. It's a myth. It's a fraud. She's probably a real person, but there's no way she wrote 12 books. It just let's think that through for a minute. She's blind and deaf from 1880s Alabama. People from 1980 Alabama still can't really read and write. So you're gonna tell me a blind and deaf one? No. Her teacher is a failed author. She just wrote the books and passed them off as Helen's work. I saw this shirt for $2.50 on the TikTok store. I didn't have a choice. You don't have a choice in those situations. You're purchasing that.
Yeah.
So
is that a Temu purchase?
What?
Temu purchase?
I don't even know where it's from. I'm probably going to wash this once. It's probably not going to be wearable after that. That's okay.
Oh, yeah. It's going to shrink up to a nice little muscle shirt.
Yeah. It's already a little tight.
Yeah. That's great, man. The leftovers in the fridge is always a good move. But like you said, I'll have this issue a lot where I'll go cook or I'll go to the store on Sunday, hit the farmer's market, go to the store, and then like Tuesday I get called somewhere for work, and then I'm out for the whole week, like what happened last week, and I've just got food in the fridge. I'm gonna whip up a little rotisserie chicken and then vegetable salad, I guess. These vegetables are on their last day. A worse man than myself would have thrown them away, but I refuse to waste $1, and I would welcome a little food poisoning before I just throw food away. It's going to be probably not as good as what you got going on there.
I'm the same way. I'll chance it. I'll take a chance. I think I got a pretty strong stomach compared to most people.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a shot. If I take a bite and it takes 3 ounces, then I gotta.
Yeah.
That smell, I'll try to power through. I can get through that. But yeah, no. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I got some corn I got cooked tonight. It's definitely on its last leg. So I'm the same with that.
I forgot I have to do corn as well. Shit. Yeah, I'm just clearing out the old pantry today. You were mentioning the dog days earlier. The dog days of summer, obviously. It's baseball. Pretty much just baseball right now. We've got a little bit of soccer going on. The women's Euros have actually been what I've been paying attention to most often. But we've been getting some Cruton news. A little bit of Cruton news on the college football scene. Some transfers, some class of 2026 announcees, if you will. What's caught your eye on the gridiron from afar?
Well, let me just throw this in first. But Landon Duckworth is coming to the University of South Carolina, and that's some of the biggest news, because who knows what's going to happen with Lenore Sellers after this year. I mean, there's talks. He's, projected to be a top 10 pick a lot of places. There's also thoughts where, hey, maybe he'll come back another year. I don't know if I necessarily see that happening, but we'll wait and see. And it's really great to have a succession plan for after him, especially – there's some guys behind Lenore's that I'm happy with right now, but always looking for an upgrade there. Duckworth has been highly touted, number 8 quarterback in the class, but some people have him a lot higher, and I think he's a
I've seen
recruit
as high as 6
going into his senior year has a really good chance of kind of moving up that ranking list too, is what I've heard a lot of people say. So that's a great thing to say. And one thing I do want to kick back the credit to is, and I don't think he's probably going to get the credit he deserves for this, and I've seen some people mention him, so I just wanted to share it, is Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler really kind of changed that trajectory of getting a big-name quarterback into the program, something we haven't really had in years past. Did that play a role in getting Lenora Sellers there? I definitely think so. And now with the way Lenora Sellers is playing, you have to believe that impacted Landon Duckworth coming here. That's just 100% fact. If you don't think it's important, you're silly.
Well, even if Rattler didn't impact Sellers coming, we saw at the beginning of the season last year, we almost lost to Old Dominion, I think, game 1. Having Sellers not have to start or be pressured to start that true freshman year, give me a chance to grow. Say what you want about Rattler. Rattler was a great leader when he was at Carolina. He had his issues on the QB1, I think that's what it's called, QB1 Netflix documentary, and then obviously at Oklahoma getting replaced by Caleb Williams, who ended up being the number 1 pick in the draft. Whatever you want to say, he did have a profound impact on that locker room and brought a lot of just winning mentality. We were in the doldrums. I'm not saying we're even out of them yet, but we have hope again, which we didn't have. I mean, if you ask any South Carolina fan, we always have hope, but we had hope again, which was something different than what we've seen in a while.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of shining through in the recruiting process too. For example, in one school, it's kind of looking on the opposite end of that, kind of going downhill right now, is Florida State. Historically a fantastic program, and I think they'll be back. It'll be easier for them to recover than it would be for us, but it looks like a running back, a 4-star recruit, his name's slipping me right now, but he just decommitted into last week, and he's all but sealed to come to South Carolina. Yeah. We were kind of the only team that was still pursuing him. So he reset his commitment date for, I believe, August 9th. So that's huge. I'm getting another running back in, and from what I've heard, Beamer's done a very good job of staying on guys who aren't locked in, committed at other places. And it sounds like we're going to see a few more of those flips, whether it be this summer going into the season or definitely during the football season, depending how well we play. Everyone's talking about, this year could be, me and you are both very high in the national championship run this year. With that said, there's so much talent and, that's at stake winning. And that's our number 1 priority. On the second side of that, though, this year is going to has the potential to do so much for us as establishing ourselves as a national program, making that run, playing really well 2 years in a row. Yeah, it's going to make people want to come. That shows the culture's there. It's there to stay, and that does so much for recruiting. We have the facilities to compete with everybody in the country. We have the crowd atmosphere. We have everything. Columbia is a great spot to be. They want that winning tradition. They don't want to be, hey, my coach is going to leave for a better job all the time. Yeah. We want that security, and that's going to continue to stay. And we're close to getting there right now. We're close. But this year that's the other thing this year needs to do is show that that's going to stabilize and continue to be here apart from making the national championship run. It's laying the foundation for the future. The flop this year is to, blow a national championship chance and also a lot of the future of the program, in my opinion. So that's,
we saw it Spencer's first year when we had the huge run beating Clemson, beating Tennessee, beating A&M. And then coming into the season, preseason ranked, I think, 25th, 24th, and then getting our shit blown in by UNC, a pretty good UNC team, but the way that their D-line just dominated our O-line and then ended up not even making a bowl game that year, you lose a lot of that momentum. So regardless of, playoff, national champion, regardless of any of that, you can't come lay a dud. 8 wins has to be a minimum. I know that sounds like loser talk, but 8 wins has to be a minimum, and you can't lose to teams like Kentucky. You can't lose to teams like Vanderbilt. You gotta play those teams well. You gotta handle your business and then try to incrementally improve each and every year. It's something that we haven't seen since my freshman year with Spurrier and Connor Shaw and Clowney and all those guys, where we were a national program where we would go in every single week expecting to win. That kind of household name and other teams not wanting to play it in Columbia, that's something we've got to get back to if we want to continue this thing. I do think Beamer's the right guy for the job. I think in college football today, and we've talked about it, my dad's a college football coach as well, the energy and time and attention that you have to spend on recruiting guys, re-recruiting your own guys, the amount of time you have to be like catering to these 17, 18-year-old kids' wants and needs, and just do it all one day and then do it all again the next day. It's not for the faint of heart. This is truly a 12-month out of the year job. There is no off season for coaches anymore in college football. So from that standpoint, where Beamer, I don't know if he's always going to be the X's and O's guys, or even if he is an X's and O's guys. When it comes to college football, I think the number one thing you can do is be the mindset mentality builder and trust your coordinators to make the right play calls.
No, absolutely. I love that you said that. I'm very much on the Beamer train. I've had my moments with him. And I think this year really is going to solidify that for me. With that being said, I think you mentioned it, going into every game, like expecting to win. I think this is the first year I can truly say, going into the year, I can look at our schedule and say we should win every single, or, we are going to be in that game. Like I said, me and you said predicting one loss right now, maybe two, but
yeah.
I'm going into every single game expecting to win. Now, last year, that probably wasn't the case. Like, I just don't feel good about that game. This year, I'm going into the game for the first time in my fandom, so going back to 2014, when I decided to go to South Carolina, this is the first year I'm actually can say, hey, I'm expecting to win every single football game, looking at the year, and have that mentality. And, our fans rally around us being good, always a great atmosphere. And like I said, I think once the winning comes, I said we're supported to get the money we need. One thing, with this new thing where you're paying players, we're going to have the money to keep guys around as long as we do what Beamer does and keep that momentum. Everyone wants to play in the SEC. Columbia is a great town to come play. It gets a lot of visibility, especially when we're good. And one thing, just to chat off this a little bit, I saw this crazy stat the other day of it looks like what teams are paying the most for players. You're not going to believe who's number two, or it makes sense when you think about it. Texas is number one, which, that very much makes sense.
Well, let me guess. The team paying the second most in NIL?
It's not even like NIL now. It's because you can directly pay them. So whatever, it is NIL, whatever it's called. I'm not sure the exact term, but yes.
Is it like
it's a power conference? It's not the SEC.
Okay. Is like Oregon?
Nope.
With the Phil Knight money?
Nope.
Who is it?
Texas Tech.
Okay.
So, and apparently Texas Tech was going to really get lost this year. I don't know too much about Texas Tech, but from what I was reading everything, they are having to – I don't really know where the money's coming from. I guess Texas Tech, probably oil. There's a lot of – I'm sure. But it's $28 million. I want to say Texas is at like 35. And then I think it drops down to like 22 or something after that. But it's because no one wants to go play in Lubbock. Like, Lubbock's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
There's nothing else really going on in Lubbock.
If you want to play in the middle of nowhere, Texas, you'd go to Texas A&M.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's even worse than Texas A&M. At least Texas A&M, you got like an hour and a half to Dallas, 2 hours to Austin. Lubbock's 5 hours west of Dallas, and then there's nothing else. That's West Texas. There's nothing else going on.
Oh, it's west. I didn't realize it was west.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was east.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's big high school. That's Friday Night Lights territory right there.
Yeah. I think it is out near Odessa even. So, yeah, Friday Night Lights movie. So,
yeah,
that's crazy. But like I said, South Carolina has that money where we can keep guys around and if we need to. But I also think having a guy like Beamer and supporting and a cast – and Beamer seems very much player first in a sense. He's going to probably give it to you like it is, where he's not going to force you to stay around. But, look, we're developing quite a good amount of NFL talent lately. And I think he's not the guy that's going to force you to stay. I think he's going to be like, hey, you're done after this year. Here's what you need to do this year to get NFL ready, and we're going to do everything to help you get to that next level, which I think is crucial for players. So,
yeah, I remember hearing some of the guys who were a little bit older than me, or Gamecock fans, from childhood. Obviously, you and I have both talked about. I wasn't a South Carolina fan until I went there. I think that's true for a lot of people with a lot of different schools, but they'll always point back to, for the Spurrier, years specifically, getting a guy like Marcus Lattimore that really turned things around and brought the number one guy in the state up in was he in Rock Hill? He might have been in Greenville. No, he's Greenville. Clown is Rock Hill. But just getting a big name guy and keeping him around, obviously it's a little different then. But when you look at the parallels between that, obviously Beamer just passed Spurrier for most wins in the first 4 years of a tenure. Getting a guy like Dylan Stewart and then keeping him, getting some of these big name guys that are producing. I mean, I think that's the direct correlation you want to see, especially as they continue to to recruit. We've got to start nabbing some more of these 5-stars. I was looking at our recruiting for 2026 right now. We have 13 commits. 6 of them are top 300, which is obviously incredible, but still no 5-star guys. Of our 13, 9 of them are 4 stars. So that's obviously a great little ratio to have there. But you got to start nailing some of these big name guys, not to say that they are the end all be all. Sellers, I think, was a 3-star. But you've got to start getting the best people in the building. When it comes to college football, most of the time it's the best players, not necessarily as much as the coaching. The coaching obviously is going to get the players, but you got to take this momentum and convert it to more of these big name top blue chip recruits, not just top 300 guys, but 5-star guys.
No, absolutely. I think it's twofold. I think it's twofold in the recruiting approach. It's you have to have that depth. Like you really need to have a solid recruiting class of guys that are going to be a step in, that are going to need that year of development, maybe the 2 years, but then they're going to be ready to go, and know which players those are going to be. But at the same time, so you can refill. But at the same time, you need the guy that's going to come in from day one and make an impact, like the Dylan Stewarts of the world. You need both of those.
Yeah.
I would say probably 1/3 of the guys that can come in and make a play from day one, and then 2/3 the other ones. And 5-star guys, I'm not gonna say it's a guarantee, but most of the time, for a fact they're gonna be able to come in and just play. They're just gonna be coming and play. 4-star guys, you get the occasional one, and there's always the hidden gem, gem that comes in and steps up as like a 3-star or whatever. Yeah. But you need to have both. You need to have the guys that you're to develop, and then they're going to play, but also the guys that just from day one are going to make an impact for the team.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit ago. I think there's a third piece to that when it comes to recruiting standpoint, not just how good you are or the coaching staff, but it's the facilities, and more importantly, when those high school kids come in for a game day experience, what does that look like? Obviously, 3 years ago, we had a ton of recruits at that Tennessee game where we blew the brakes off of, I think, the number 3 team in the country, Hendon Hooker Tennessee team. That was huge for recruiting, and then turn around the following year and we have a ton of recruits at the Florida game that we completely blew to Graham Mertz. But it got me thinking. I sent you this. I think we talked about it yesterday. We've been fortunate to go to a lot of different away games, both for Gamecocks and just because we like football. What are some of the best atmospheres that you've been? I could think of a couple that are awesome. I can think of a couple that are not so awesome. But anything that jumps off the page, obviously, we'll leave Willie B to the side because we're both extremely biased. But what would you say?
Yeah, so I'm going to do it from a 2-pronged approach here. I'm going to talk about just overall game day experience. That's tailgate. That's the city you're in. And then actual atmosphere in the stadium. One of the big ones for me, University of Florida really comes to the top of my list.
Yeah.
The Swamp, listen, Gainesville is an incredible college town, incredible city. It's a lot of fun. And then the Swamp is really something to be. When they're good, it's a tough place to go play football. It's loud in there. It echoes around. It really, really gets loud. And I love the Tom Petty, I won't back down tradition. That's phenomenal. Yeah. That's kind of top of my list. That really just kind of checks all the boxes for me. It's just a great experience.
Yeah, when we went there, gosh, that was my senior year when we went there. At least I think it might have been the year after I graduated. I remember having pretty good seats, and you get down to your seat and it feels like you're in a swamp in a lot of ways. You just look around and it's like, holy shit, this is a big stadium. Like it's just orange and blue everywhere. People are chomping at you. Listen, I don't like Florida. I don't think that's a secret, but the chomp is hilarious. And when you're getting chomped at, you can't help but stand back and laugh. Plus, like the tailgate scene, like you're talking about, super friendly people. We were all in our Gamecock stuff, just walking around with cases of beer because you can do that on a game day. And everyone's just, hey, come over to our tailgate, inviting you over, have some food, have some drinks. Really, really cool game day experience. I would agree.
And the comments too. Listen, I want there to be some animosity. Like I want to be there to be a little bit. Hey, there's a rivalry here, but there's going to be a dickhead to each other. Like friendly competition is good. Except there's one exception to that, and that's your rivalry game. Yeah. When Clemson comes to town, I'm generally a nice fan to people around me. Clemson, fuck you. I don't care. I'm not going to be nice to you. You're not drinking at my tailgate. If you bring your friends to Clemson fan, fuck you. Like, cool. I'm not going to like you. It is what it is.
They're just speaking on Clemson for a second. I've been to an away game there. They might have one of the bigger discrepancies of tailgate atmosphere to in-stadium atmosphere. Their
100%.
their tailgate is one of the lamest things. It for what I'm looking for, at least. It's a bunch of parents around in tents being super nice, super prim, super proper. But when you get in between the lines in that stadium, it gets loud. It's a big fucking stadium. I think the running down the hill thing is kind of lame,
Stupid.
but they go.
Especially when Dabo Sweeney's fucking leading it.
Yeah.
That fucking cock dick.
But they get loud, and it's a cool stadium atmosphere. I'd rather just go to a bar than go straight to the game. The tailgate stinks, but their game day atmosphere, I will give them props. It's not bad.
And let me go off of that. Ole Miss, the Grove is the most overrated thing.
Overrated.
It's a bunch of adults sitting around in a little mud field. They walk through it. Cool. There's cops everywhere trying to get you in trouble. Like it's not it. I'm telling you right now, it's cool. I'm glad I checked it off the list. I don't ever need to go back. The fan atmosphere also not the best.
No.
Maybe they're playing South Carolina. We beat them when I was there, and they were just the fans weren't there. It was almost too nice. Oxford, Mississippi, pretty fun place.
The fans weren't there, but it was like a 52-48 game. It was a great game, a high scoring, but the stadium kind of sucks. The Vaughn Hemingway's not great. The fans were all leaving, and in the middle of a great game. Granted, neither team was that good that year, but like those are the games you got to win. I couldn't agree more. I actually think that they're one of the worst game day experiences unless you are like a 55-year-old rich guy that just wants to like show their money and hang out at the Grove. I could see it then, but as a 24-year-old right out of college going to the Grove, one of the most overrated experiences I've ever had.
Now, I will say on the flip side of this, Penn State, holy fucking shit, that place knows how to do it. Yeah. Happy Valley on a whiteout game I drove up for, had game day, went up there my senior year. Oh my gosh, just everything about that place, the tailgate, absolutely bonkers. The stadium atmosphere, absolutely incredible too on that one.
I want to get up to Penn State. I have not been up to Happy Valley yet.
And then one other one before then I can pass over to you, see your thoughts. Georgia. Stadium experience, not the best. It's okay. I almost would say it's more fun to be at a fucking bar in Athens. Athens is the best college town in America, and I'm not really willing to take debates on this one. It's maybe Madison. I haven't been to Madison, Wisconsin. That's the only place I've heard is comparable. Athens, Georgia is on a playing field of, and I thought Columbia had good bars. Athens, Georgia is something else. It is unbelievable how fun that place is. Yeah. And they are just rocking all day long. People are just barking at you, and I kind of love it. I love getting.
I do like the bark. I do like the bark. Yeah,
and I do like the bark. So, I really want to get down to, like I said, my parents, just tired of Amelia Island and north of Jacksonville. I want to go to the biggest tailgate party on earth. Two fan bases I've enjoyed interacting with is Florida and Georgia. I'd love to go see what that's about. Between the two of those playing in Jacksonville, I think that'd be an experience.
You got to go to Jacksonville then.
Yeah, but I can make an exception if the people coming in are Georgia fans and Florida fans, and might deal with that. And then I'm gonna hand it over to you here. I would like you to touch on Oklahoma, and I'll get my comments there as well. But I'll pass it off to you here.
Well, you've touched on a lot of the ones that I've been to. The only other couple that I would mention here is I was fortunate enough to go to a Florida State Miami game a couple years ago, and neither team was all that good. Miami smoked them. I was wearing a Florida State shirt because we were visiting my then roommate's younger brother who was a senior there. And the Miami fans just coming and rampantly talking shit to us, trying to start fights, wearing tank tops, being douchebags. Incredible game day atmosphere. Obviously, that's a huge rivalry. But the Doak is fun. There's a ton of people out there just getting hammered. The stadium is cool. It's loud. The Seminole coming and throwing the spear into midfield right before the game. That's awesome. Big love for Florida State. Even when they're bad, I think that's a cool place. I would have failed out there in about a half a semester. It's just ridiculous. Talk about bar scene. Before, after, during, anything. They also have this trail. It's not I believe they call it the rape trail, which is not a good name for it, but I can see why they do. It's this sketchy trail from the frat lots into the stadium, and it's all surrounded by woods. It's super, super sketchy, but easy transport to and from game. All things considered, but really fun game day atmosphere. A lot of things going on, and just genuine hate, which I appreciate in college football. And then obviously we got to talk about Oklahoma. It was tough to get the in-game atmosphere because we were just on their ass so early. But Oklahoma, from a tailgate perspective, super fun, very accommodating people, very, very friendly. One of the more friendly fan bases I've ever been around. I think it was partially because it was South Carolina and Oklahoma's first game, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the first time they'd ever played each other. Yeah. So there's just not any built-in hate. I do think that they thought they were going to come out and beat our ass. The old lady behind us that told you to be respectful when we were cheering, very respectfully, honestly. I mean, we were hammered, but we were not being mean. We were just cheering for our team. That was a fun game day atmosphere. And I've told you this, even after we're up like 32-3 at some point, and Jackson Arnold leads them to a scoring drive. So we did get to see the schooner. The schooner's cool. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. In one comment, totally agree. It was just one of the best game days I've had visiting in a long time. And on that note, too, she's kind of like over my left shoulder. There's a family to our right shoulder with a couple little kids who ended up becoming our friends throughout the game. Yeah. It just shows how respectful we were being. So it wasn't on us. This old lady was just kind of being a bitch. If we're going to be totally honest about it. Maybe she's butthurt. We were kicking their ass. That which is fair.
We were stomping them out. It was bad.
And I will say this, and it's one place I have to get to at some point in my life, and I'm just going to say it right now. I'm terrified to go as an opposing fan, and that's LSU.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with this. They're known to be hostile. They're known to be aggressive. And I can't knowingly go to a football game and tone down my personality. I'm not going to be able to just take it. I'm not going to be able to just sit there and take it. So, it could end up to a situation for me. Yeah. So it might be one of those I have to go when South Carolina's not playing. Yeah. I just don't know how I would handle being there.
Yeah. The last one that I can think of as far as games I've been to at the home stadium, when my dad was at UNC, I went to a UNC game. Actually, no, I've got a couple more. When he did a Wake Forest trip, a UNC trip, and an NC State while he was he's coaching around the North Carolina schools at Duke now. So I'll be going to a Duke Georgia Tech game later this year, which I'm excited to see Haynes King live. But UNC, decent, very, very decent, but their fourth quarter song to get the crowd hyped up is Carolina on My Mind, which is a great song. Don't get me wrong. But you think a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old football players want to hold the fours up to Eric Church? It's just what are we doing? Kind of lame. I will say the game I went to, they beat Miami, and then I went to another one where they beat Duke. Both were on game-ending plays to win the game, very close games. So that was a lot of fun. But as far as in-stadium atmosphere, not great. Wake Forest is exactly what you think it is. Super, super lame. Terrible tailgate. Horrible, experience, really. I mean, they played Notre Dame, and Notre Dame absolutely dog-walked them. But just no fight, nothing from the fans. But then NC State. NC State is they hold the black sheep kind of card real close to their best. They think that they're looked down on by Duke and UNC fans, and they show it at those games. Those are a fun fan base. This is something I had not been accustomed to because in our time at South Carolina, you couldn't drink in the stadium. They would let you, at halftime, go out back to tailgate, go get more drinks, and then come back in. So you got one readmittance with your ticket. I've never seen something like that, but holy danger. Holy danger. That was fun. I was
you're ripping drinks in that.
Dude, I was 27, I think, and we found some. We were wearing NC State stuff because my dad obviously was coaching there, and it was Chris and I. We walked out, and people were like, "Hey, come get drinks with us." And naturally, I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Go to their tailgate, rip a couple shots, shotgun a couple beers. Got to show the kids what's up, and then walk back in. I can't even remember who they're playing. I think it was UAB, but they were stomping them. It was awesome. And I've got one last one before I forget it. Was super disappointed in this game day atmosphere. Arizona, Khalil Tate, Arizona years too.
So I'd be expected of that too. I would expect that, to be honest.
It was Arizona with Khalil Tate freshman year when he was electric. One of the more electrifying freshmen we've seen, and they're playing Wazoo with Luke. No, what was Ryan Helinski's older brother name? Taylor Helinski, maybe.
Tyler
Helinski. He comes in for Luke Falk off the bench, throws for 550-something yards. The game is 62-55, and by the third quarter, they're no one's there. you come to find out they sell out the spring, whatever the spring version of basketball, the red and blue game is what they call it. They sell that game out, and it's the loudest place of all time. They also tried to steal Jump Around from Wisconsin and did a horrible job. One of the most disappointing game day atmospheres I've ever been. But I think that goes into just being in the Pac-12. What was then the Pac-12?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. One other place I just want to throw out there, kind of like Wake Forest, everyone expects is Vanderbilt, just trash from what I've heard. You're just going there to go to Nashville.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this kind of leads us into, a great conversation we wanted to have too. At what point in time, let's go with just the last 20 years here.
Yeah.
Would you want to be a student and being able to live through a season of going to games at the stadium somewhere?
One season?
To say that, one other place I would love to, sorry for backtracking here, is Tuscaloosa on a big game. So I feel like Tuscaloosa is very hit or miss. It has to be a big game, but Dixieland Delight on a huge game day, I bet would be awesome. And that, so let's segue that. So basically picking one school to be a student at during, a certain year where just that atmosphere alone and how good the team was and some of the games they were in is somewhere you just really want to be and enjoy.
Joe Burrow, LSU. Easy.
So I think you thought too quickly on this one. I think that's a great answer. I'm not sure if that's your 1-1, but I think there's a clear 1-1, and it's the Magic team. It's Auburn, Alabama. Auburn in the state of Alabama, being a fan there in 2013. You get two of the most last-second miracle plays. One, you get the greatest play in college football history, the kick six.
Maybe the greatest play in football history.
You get to go on the field, you're storming it, and then not 2 weeks later, you get that 4th and 13 pass, Nick Marshall down the center of the field, tipped up by 2 Georgia receivers, catches it and runs it in. And
that was before. That was before.
Okay, that was before?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. You're right. But anyways, both of those, I just don't know if I could pass up being a fan that year in that stadium, and how loud that place got.
Dude, so I can tell you from South Carolina experience, that was my freshman year, and we lost to Georgia game 2 or 3, and that was back when it was SEC East, SEC West play, winner goes to the championship. We needed Georgia to lose one game down the stretch, and I can't remember who we were playing, but at one point the announcer comes on the loudspeaker and goes, "Everyone turn to the Jumbotron." I'm in the student section. I turn around and they show that play for Auburn to beat Georgia, which we obviously needed to get into the SEC championship game. Unfortunately, Missouri held on to their one-game lead. But Williams-Brice went fucking ballistic. So I couldn't even imagine what it was like in Jordan-Hare.
Yeah, so that's got to be my answer. I think
that's a good answer.
Second choice, but I just because that LSU team was so exciting and so fun, I get it. But
you don't get the championship.
Those just
you don't get the natty.
Moments, being there twice, you get the shock and awe twice. I prayed for that once in college. I never got it. To get that twice in the same season, I don't know. And Jordan-Hare, from what I've heard, Auburn's a great time apparently too. In the middle of nowhere, but kind of has that vibe. Jordan-Hare is a great atmosphere from what I've heard. They are a little hit or miss sometimes, I guess. But
see, you don't. I think that I don't disagree with you, but with LSU, you get a championship out of it still. In the Auburn one, you get your heart ripped out by. Well, I guess did they even go to the championship that year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they lost to Florida State.
Jameis.
You miss out on the championship, which is huge.
I looked at it from the perspective of the games I got to saw in the stadium. I excluded that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Technically, it was national tournament away.
Yeah,
but yeah,
crazy. That's fair. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I mean, on the complete flip side, that Florida State team being in Tallahassee, the Jameis championship year, that'd have been sweet. And that team was a bunch of killers, absolute killers.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I was, yeah. But I mean,
you mentioned it.
Kind of looking at different perspectives, but for sure. And then plus just Death Valley, LSU, it's already a great fan base either. How rock they were and how much they adopted Joe Burrow as a city of. Dude, if I was a student, I would have been crying when Burrow came out with the Burrow on the back. That just emote. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I would have that jersey. That is quintessential fraternity darty wear.
Yeah,
the Burrow. But you mentioned it
for decades.
Oh yeah.
Centuries.
What stadiums would you want to go get the game day atmosphere as a home fan? So you talked about not wanting to necessarily go to LSU as a South Carolina fan. I agree. I'd love to see what it's like to be a home fan. But what other stadiums besides LSU would you want to go and be a home fan at? I think there's a couple that are obvious.
Tennessee. Tennessee's a big one for
Okay.
me. I've been to Florida State, so that one's big.
That
And
was
I will
cool.
have a rule. I'm going to put this out there. I will never wear another team's colors. And I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do it if my kids go there. If my kid plays, that's not going to happen. But if it did, I'd probably wear the jersey. But even if my kid goes, I don't know if I'm donating the colors. I don't know.
I would wearing the colors and wearing the logo is different to me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'd wear
no logo.
Yeah, I'd
I
throw
haven't
on
quite
red,
decided
but
if I would. I will
Yeah.
never go to another stadium and wear a logo. I've decided
Yeah.
that now. I do want to go to a Texas game. I really want to go to the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas for Texas versus Oklahoma. I think it's an incredible experience weekend just in Dallas. I can imagine the stadium's awesome. Oregon, I think, would be kind of a fun one. Just I don't know that atmosphere. It's out in Oregon. Let me think.
I mean, Camp Randall's got to be in there.
Well, oh yeah, sorry. I feel like I touched on that earlier. I said Madison.
Camp Randall and Happy Valley. We'll go ahead and just exclude those now because those would be sweet to be a home fan at.
One kind of a maybe not so much anymore, but I feel like maybe they're coming back a little bit. Is Nebraska? Nebraska be interesting a lot. I just don't really respect that many Big Ten fans. So I just don't think Michigan really is going to do it for me. In the state of Ohio, I just don't want to be in Ohio. So I have those. Michigan maybe. I think Notre Dame would be pretty cool. Notre Dame.
It would be. You'd have to go in September, otherwise you'd freeze your ass off.
Yeah, I don't want to be cold. The only place I'm willing to go be really cold at is Lambeau Field in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I'm going to Lambeau, I want it to be snowy. I want there to be snow on the ground. I want the full experience. I want to get maybe a little bit of frostbite. Other than that, I feel like I'm missing someone huge.
I do too. I can't think of anyone.
But there's probably someone else. But those are a couple ones that just jump to mind right now.
I'm trying to think if Southern Cal would be cool or not.
Nah, nope. I know from experience, from story, people, it's just not as important to those people anymore. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, sure, early 2000s, but maybe not so much anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I think those are you. How about you?
Oh, I also had, like we talked about, Penn State, Wisconsin, Florida State. I've been to, so that one I've kind of got buttoned up. I do think an Ohio State game as an Ohio State fan would be a ball, but it takes a little bit away if you just know you're going to win. Like that takes a little bit away from me. I'm trying to think of what other like pesky teams. I mean, a Texas A&M game could be fun as a Texas A&M fan. I just don't want to sign up for the cult shit. Same with like Texas Tech in those Graham Harrell years. That would have been fun. That would have been a good time. Oklahoma State, I think is the last one I'm thinking. Oklahoma State and Stillwater. When the boys are buzzing, when Ollie Gordon still remembered how to play football, that'd be a fun place to go.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That's a good take.
Yeah. I think we've covered Starkville. Starkville could be fun too. What I feel about Ole Miss, I have to assume the exact opposite for Starkville. I think just a fan base that's used to getting kind of stepped on and just having hate in their heart, I think that would be fun to be a part of.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think that's an interesting take. I'd be interested to go to an Arkansas game. Fayetteville's a great little town.
I've heard that. I'm sure you know from experience. But I just don't know if I want to be in Arkansas. I do think the Wild Pigs is such a good logo. The Hogs.
Calling the Hogs would be pretty cool to experience.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't got much else there. I do have a couple other news things I want to touch on.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I'm gonna skip football here for a quick second, and then I have some football news after I want to comment on.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter cast, we talked about this last week. And listen, I'm all for inclusion, diversity, and all that. But here's the thing. Snape's white. Snape is a white man. And the fact that they're having a black man play Snape is really throwing me for a loop in this HBO Max series. Listen, my problem is he was written as a white character. You're really kind of going away from him having being a black guy. It's so different, especially Snape, who is pale white with long black hair and looks like a vampire, and to go to the black guy, just very confusing for me. Hopefully he does a great job, but it's just going to be a big change up to adjust to. That news came out. And especially when the other cast members that they've announced look very familiar to who previously played them. So interested on that. I was kind of surprised about that.
I missed this. Yeah, that is kind of – it will be strange. This guy's got a hell of a name, though.
Oh, yeah.
Papa Asidu?
Yeah, and listen, I don't know who he is. I will say this. I'm really glad. I was talking about this with someone yesterday. I'm really glad they told me now, so it's not when I just turn on HBO Max. It's just a black guy playing Snape. I mean, hopefully he does a great job, but definitely confusing for me. Definitely something you got to adjust to.
Yeah.
So I just had to throw that out there. But my other news, the Jets finally do some positive Jets stuff in the offseason, signed their two kind of core pieces, what you signed on both sides of the ball. Garrett Wilson, and then I want to say the next day, Sauce. I think I have it correct.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh, got the order right. And I saw an actually interview right before I hopped on with you. Sauce Gardner really sounds like him and Garrett Wilson have a good relationship. And I think, Sauce, who I think's one of the best corners in the league, I think he took a little bit of a step back last year.
Yeah.
But he came out and said, hey, I had the deal already. They were going to sign it kind of the same day or whatever. And he goes, no, I want that to be Garrett Wilson's day. And just came out and said, hey, let him enjoy the day. And then I'll, just sign it, the next couple of days we'll come out with that announcement. But I think it's awesome. Great for that culture. However, I do unfortunately think they're going to Jets it, and one of them is going to get injured this year. So that's just kind of an unfortunate thing with the Jets stuff. So
while we're talking about it, Sauce Gardner, I'm not a big I'm not a big barbecue wing guy, but Sauce Gardner's sauce at B-Dubs, it's pretty good. It's a barbecue wing sauce. It's pretty good. I'm not a big barbecue wing guy myself. I think barbecue should be barbecue, and buffalo should be wings. But it's pretty good for me as far as barbecue wings go.
I haven't tried it. I'm a huge Buffalo Wild Wings fan. I very much on the side of wings. Need to be smaller wings are always better, and Buffalo Wild Wings has great size wings.
Yeah.
Big wings, they're not as good. I don't know what it is.
They're always like bubbly or fatty or like it's just
too much cartilage in them.
Yeah, I want it to be like crispy.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So maybe I'll have to go try those. I'm interested. I don't love barbecue wings, is like you said, not my go-to flavor, but I'd be willing to give it a run.
I don't know if they still have them. They might have discontinued him after his play last year. And at some point, we need to talk about the top corners in the NFL. We'll get to that at some point, but I'm just excited for football.
I can't wait. Yeah. It was great kind of touching back on that. However, you did yesterday when we were talking, you brought up something that I'm a huge fan of, and I'm interested to hear what you want to discuss about it, is board games.
Yes. Dude, so it's funny. Board games are one of those things that kind of cross all generations, right? You've got kids that love board games. You got parents that like playing board games with kids. You got college kids that like to play board games with beers. It's just like it really encompasses everybody. But I felt like up until, maybe my high school years, board games were just board games. You had Sorry, you had Yahtzee, you had Monopoly. I know I'm forgetting some, obviously, because I'm just rattling off some from the top of some from the hip, but it feels like in the last 15-ish years, and I'm aging myself a bit there, I guess. Like the last 15 years, board games are not what they used to be. They rarely have a board anymore. It's usually just like a box with cards. But at what point did we just transition the board away from the board game? I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of it, but like today we have games like Code Names. You got Quiplash, which is like a video game, basically, an online card game. Like, when did we switch up the board games? And I don't know if you're feeling the same thing.
Yeah, no, I don't know if we've necessarily transitioned away. Maybe it's also just the ones I prefer to play. I think most of the time I'm playing those with my buddies. Because a lot of them are great. Like, there's not necessarily a winner in a lot of them. And I think they're just kind of I think most of the time I break them out. And I think when I play them with you, kind of a similar thing when we're playing I think a lot of ones I'm playing are trivial related. Questions and hypotheticals, things like that, things we both love. You get like Cards Against Humanity. That's just a great thing to play like a pregame, kind of, especially if you don't know people, kind of get to know people that way.
Yeah. So
I think it's more of maybe not necessarily transitioning away. It's more so like what our interests are, and then like when you have time for it. Because I'm not sure about you. It's been a while since I do it with my family every Christmas. We sit down and actually play some old-fashioned board games with the board. Some of those ones, like Smarty Party is one of my favorites, very kind of unknown game. But it's
Smarty
a lot
Party.
more, we're just kind of playing to do something. We're just kind of
Yeah.
playing to do something, and it kind of just a conversation starter, get things going.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a little bit more situational and just kind of what you're exposed to, especially more adult related, get things like Cards Against Humanity. Barstool came out with a great one, Answer the Internet. Just kind of questions. It's like not even necessarily a board game, more of a activity is almost how I try to describe them. Kind of transition to more activity games based instead of board games.
Well, it seems like they've transitioned from here's the game, here's how you play, and you do the things within the game. I'm thinking, sorry, like you do the things within the game, within the board game or Monopoly. There's not a whole lot of stuff you can do outside the game. And now it's transitioned to a lot of like, here's a card, tell me what you think. Or like they've opened it a lot more up for the player to, give their own context. If you, like you mentioned it, what Cards Against Humanity, that's completely a preference game. There's no way to have a strategy really to win. Like I'm going to draw this many cards and I'm going to play them this way. You just got to really understand what's funny to the person dealing, or even like, what do you mean? It's kind of basically Cards Against Humanity, but with pictures. But a lot of them have gotten the person or the people playing is, I guess, more involved. But what are some of your favorite go-to games right now?
I mean, I'm a big Cards Against Humanity fan. I also have a book. It's not really a game. It's called Barguments. Just great kind of conversation starter.
Great book.
Great hypotheticals on there. Maybe we'll break it out at one point, read you off a few of those. Answer the Internet, things like that. And then also games like Buzzword. You just kind of have a word, trying to guess what the word is, timers, things like that.
Yeah.
Taboo is always a fun one for me, especially
Taboo
games. Kind of just play, enjoy. You don't necessarily play to win. You can if you want to. But those are kind of the big ones I'm enjoying lately.
Have you ever heard of Villainous?
I have not, no. Also,
so
it's like as well, but
oh yeah, Quiplash is incredible. Villainous is like each play. You're basically taking the character of a Disney villain. So you can be, whether it's the like Maleficent or the weird witch in Sword in the Stone. Some of those King Arthur, I think, is his name, from Robin Hood, the lion. But you're each person's playing their own individual game, and you are trying to complete the mission that villain has. So for like Captain Hook, you're trying to capture Peter Pan, or you're trying to capture Tiger Lily, the Indian princess, or the lion from what's it called? Robin Hood. You're trying to get as much gold as you can because he was taxing the poor. And every time you go around, you're trying to do something to accomplish your goal that only you know, and the other people are trying to deal you shitty cards to stop you from completing your goal, which they don't know about. Super fun, super getting back into the roots of Disney, like cartoon villains from the early days, like before the 90s. Just real fun game. We gotta get that in rotation at some point.
Dude, I like that. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'd definitely be very interested in checking that out.
All the games these days, I've noticed they have like expander packs. So like when you buy Sorry, you bought Sorry, and there's nothing you can do. Now they're like adding different things. They're adding different variations. You can, like I remember when Apples to Apples came out, which is basically the precursor to Cards Against Humanity. There was the inappropriate version, and now it's just a whole different game. Or Telestrations, when that came out, now they have Telestrations After Dark. It's kind of like what we're seeing in movies these days, where they're not really creating new movies. They're just doing sequels or different variations of the same movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I agree. And kind of developing you instead of making a new game, just kind of making it so you can do something different with the game. But yeah, no, I love board games. It's something I wish I kind of played more. It's kind of something you got to get not necessarily the right group, but like I feel like once everyone gets playing, they're in. It's just kind of getting the buy-in is kind of tough sometimes.
There's certain groups that immediately, like we're hitting board games today. Like you know you're gonna have a lot of buy-in, people that are really just trying to get after it.
One of the best is like a post pool, like kind of rained. You get rained on the pool, then go up to someone's apartment or house and go play. Those are some of the best days on board games. Just some great activity.
The apartment life. I don't have that anymore.
But yeah, no. So those are great. You got any other news for us? I know we have an exciting top 5 to get into, but
dude, we do have an exciting top 5, and my list is too big, honestly.
I kept it strict. I spent a lot of time on it, and I have it pretty narrowed down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to it's gonna take me some time. I do have one last thing. It's a bit of a rant, but ESPN, our friends, our colleagues, I love ESPN. I love the TV station. I think that their programming has gone way downhill, but it's still ESPN. I'm still going to watch it. The website's good articles, everything. ESPN is too big to have such a shitty app. Like the shittiest app in all of sports. There's almost no time in my life or my day-to-day where I need to go check a score or some sports news or anything, and I choose to go to the ESPN app. But if you ask me to go find sports news on any other medium, Twitter page, the website, actual TV, that's the first place I'm going. How is it possible that they have so much money and they are in so many different things and their app is just such dog shit? And I think that translates to ESPN Plus as well. ESPN Plus is a horrible system, because for lack of a better word. What is ESPN doing with such a shitty app?
It doesn't really make sense. I didn't really think about that until you just brought it up.
You can't find anything you're looking for.
I can't agree more.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's too simple of an issue.
And there's too many ads on it too.
Yeah, everybody has an app. So you got to know how to make a good app. It's part of the culture of these days. How is your ESPN app so bad?
It's such a good point. Like, and it's the worldwide leader in sports. It really should just be so much better. It can't be that hard to adjust. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm never going to go to CBS Sports to try to watch something, but I use the CBS Sports app before I use ESPN app every day.
For sure.
It's a good app.
Bleacher Report has a real good app that I use a lot.
Don't you have to pay for that though?
Kind of run into some roadblocks, but simple stuff you can kind of get around. One other thing on ESPN, I actually think good segue. I completely forgot about this. The ESPYs.
Yes.
There's a lot of controversy going around. I'm just gonna say, finally, something ESPN did right. Ghana got away from their Super Bowl. Hey, we don't hurt anyone's feelings, and let Shane Gillis host it. And listen, you can be offended if you want. I'm very much on this side of, listen, some of the jokes were on the line, and whatever line you want to draw. It's comedy at the end of the day. He's making jokes. It's like, if you're getting offended by that, you need to kind of reevaluate some things. Like, he's just making jokes wholeheartedly, and you could literally just tell in the audience there was so many people just afraid to laugh because they didn't.
That was the thing. It's not people didn't think it was funny. They were afraid to laugh because they didn't want to get caught laughing. Like, that's ridiculous.
We just got to grow past this side, and I think we're kind of moving in the right direction away from that. At the end of the day, like, listen, if you want to be offended by things, you want to die on certain hills, I'm all for that. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But you have to separate that a little bit when it comes to comedy. It's a joke at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He wasn't going after anyone's families, anyone really personally attacking one, except Megan Rapinoe. But, and to say she didn't deserve it sometimes, that's
just leave that one alone.
That's reach their own.
Yeah.
But like, it's a joke. Just come on, enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. It's comical. It's to make you laugh. That's what it is.
No one's asking Shane Gillis to be the purveyor of truth, or he's not Reverend Gillis. He's not the devout Shane Gillis. He's a comedian. Yeah. It's a comedy act.
And you have to respect that he stuck to his guns, and he was Shane Gillis. He didn't do another comedy routine to appease the people. He just did his comedy, which I appreciate from him. And one other thing about people appreciating their comedy is, I mentioned it last week, I'm glad you watched. Always Sunny season is just absolutely hitting home runs.
Holy fuck.
They're 3 for 3 on just absolute phenomenal episodes. And I've rewatched each of them multiple times, and they just get funnier. They're just so good.
Episode 2 with the Peppers is one of the
three.
Oh, the 3? Okay. Episode 3 with the Peppers is one of the funniest things I've seen on TV. It was so funny that I hadn't watched Always Sunny probably since season 9, just because I don't go back. Well, I didn't have Hulu until very recently, but I don't go back and watch like TV shows where I did in college, because I live with my girlfriend. She doesn't find Always Sunny funny. I don't necessarily know that I'd want her to find Always Sunny a funny show. But I went back, I watched those 3 episodes, and then I went through and watched all of season 16, and then I watched like 5 episodes of season 15. I'm just going to go backwards. I'm just going to watch them get younger.
It's so funny.
It's incredible. In fact, Kristen is at dinner tonight with one of her friends. I'm probably going to either rip through that again, or I might actually finally watch Jurassic Park. I actually might do that instead. We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Where would you lead me? Where would you leave me? Always Sunny or Jurassic Park tonight?
I would go Jurassic Park because you can squeeze in Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But the Peppers, oh my God. Like, they're just sweating. They can't. Oh my God. No spoilers because it's new, so I'll give people time. But
He was blind.
yeah, but like you were telling me how funny the first episode was, and the first episode's funny, but like it to me just got progressively funnier and funnier. What was that? What was the second episode? Why can't I remember that one?
When Freak's in a coma and he's cake.
Yeah, that one is fucking good. That one is fucking good. Well, dude, they've got a lot of drug humor in this season. I've
Oh yeah.
They've got the guy. Have you ever seen? Have you seen the new? What's the new Jumanji with?
Yeah.
So the nerdy kid Spencer is the drug guy in episode 2 of Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Like, well, that just threw me the fuck off. Oh my God, I was dying laughing. That was the hangover cure I needed that day because I was locked to my couch. No sports on. And while we're at it, golf is meant to be something you watch on Sunday that's competitive, compelling, and something you can watch all day hungover. I love the Open Championship. But it's starting at 3 a.m. and being over by like noon, right when my hangover is peaking. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But thankfully,
and especially when Scotty was just running away with it.
Yeah.
Scotty was on a whole nother level this weekend.
Thankfully, Always Sunny was there for me, though.
Oh man, what a start to the season! Can't wait for the episode tomorrow.
Dude, is it Wednesdays or Thursdays?
Wednesdays.
Oh, that's big time. That's big time news.
So that's huge. And the best is like that happened to me. It's like I was miserably hungover too last Friday as well. And I'd forgotten I didn't watch that Wednesday episode. So that was phenomenal. I got to watch that too. I did the same as you, went back and watched some other ones.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Always Sunny. You can watch them multiple times. They almost progressively get funnier. You can go back and rewatch your favorite episodes.
I also I like it I like them being, I guess, the anti-sitcom where you don't have to watch the progression. Like
No.
you can I was literally watching them for the first time backwards. And it was still just once you know that they're all shitty people, everything else kind of works. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thinking of things that you can watch over and over again, highlight tapes of our top 5. So our draft today is going to be our top 5 running backs, same as we did last week since 2000. South Carolina players excluded. So that means no Marcus Lattimore, who very easily could have been potentially one on this list if it wasn't for an awful knee injury.
Yeah.
Couple knee injuries.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous by your list, and I know that there's just so many good players to pick from. Like I mean, my list is like 30 or 40 people. But I'm a little older than you, obviously. There's some players. There's players that I wrote down that I'll never pick just because they deserve to be written down.
So I did that as well, but I erased them after a little bit. I went back. I want to narrow it down so I was in the mood.
You're a little child for writing in pencil.
No, I wrote them on a notes app. So
okay. Well, then I'm a fucking old man for writing on paper. Do you want first or second?
I would like second this week.
Okay. And I'd like it to be clear, based on some of these picks, you're gonna, at least on my picks, you're gonna notice some stats were taken into account, but this is an eyeball test. So same. I'm not talking a lot of stats. I'm gonna go with my gut. There's gonna be recency bias, and that's that. So I got number 1.
Yep.
All right. This is just God. I wanted 2-3 flip. There's two guys that were just incredibly electric. I know that I won't get one of them on the turn. I might get the other one. So I'm going to kick things off with Saquon Barkley. Kick returning through the hole. When he was about to score a touchdown, he's doing the arms above his head like this. Absolutely electric. I mean, unbelievable player. So fun to watch. Made the number 26 cool, which is hard to do. I'm going to lock in Saquon for my number 1 pick.
He's in my top 3. He was in my top 3. I'm going to go with Reggie Bush. Just in my opinion, the most electrifying player I ever watched. And part of the reason I fell in love with football.
Yeah.
Just watching his highlights.
He was on my list. But I would feel like it'd pander if I didn't take Saquon.
And then I'm going Christian McCaffrey.
Wow. Okay. Also on my list, but I did get my 2 that I wanted, which I'm very excited about. CMC is awesome. He played West Coast games. Wow. I mean, there's just so many good people. There's so many good choices. For my 2 pick, I'm gonna take one of the guys that we were supposed to play when I was in South Carolina. When I was at South Carolina, we had a flood instead, so he didn't actually get to come to Columbia. That was in our bad years, and we did go to LSU, which people forgot about. Thankfully, it didn't hurt me too bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and take Lenny Fournette. When I watched him play, I mean, he was one of the most dominating species that I remember watching.
I had him on my list and probably would have been one of my next picks.
Yep. And then, God, this is what I meant when I said not full. I mean, listen, this guy was a preseason Heisman when he played. He was one of the first running backs. No, that's not true. He was one of the top running backs I remember watching live in college football and being like, this guy can do no wrong. His backfield mates were also incredible. However, he was just the guy, and that's Darren McFadden.
Son of a bitch. I thought you were going to let him slide. That was who my next pick was.
Yeah, I mean, the Wild Hog as instead of the Wildcat, that was incredible. I won't say the other guys in his backfield list because they could theoretically be picked. I don't think they will, but we'll touch on it later. But yeah, Darren McFadden, he was one of the most entertaining species of a running back that I remember watching. And I remember when he got drafted by the Raiders, and I was just like, the Raiders are going to be the best team of all time because I thought he was that good.
That pissed me off. All right. I'm going to go Derrick Henry.
My man. I do love Derrick Henry.
And fun fact, his mother just moved into my parents' neighborhood, so I may get to meet him at some point. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe I'll invite him over to go swimming. I don't know.
I've met Derrick once. He's a good guy.
And then
he's a fucking monster. A monster.
Oh yeah.
He looks like a monster compared to other NFL players. Think about what he looks like compared to you or myself.
Well,
humongous person.
So my dad was talking with his neighbors. My dad wasn't there, and he was moving in, apparently helping his mom move in. My neighbor goes, yeah, I think he was moving in. And my dad was like, listen, if he was helping his mom move in, you'd fucking know.
Yeah.
He looks like a fridge. He's the guy moving the fridge by himself.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go recency bias here. Just an absolutely incredible season, and I'm really excited to see what he does this year. I got to include him. It's going to be Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
I still think he probably should have won the Heisman, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
When literally they were stacking the box 7-8 people every single play because of him, and he's still doing what he did. I mean, he just had an incredible year. Granted, he played for Boise State, and you got to take that into account. That's why I'm taking him 4th, but I just felt like I had to take him.
Dude, it's a great pick. I mean, one of the best running back seasons we've ever seen. Unbelievable pick. God, there's so many good people I still have on my list. I'm going to go. I know who I want to take with my 4th pick. I just don't know where I'm going 5th. I think I'm going to be smart with my 4th pick. Who I think is the most entertaining, dominant running back of my NFL watching career as well. Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma. Guy was unstoppable. Absolutely a freak. I've actually shaken his hand once, and he broke my pinky. He squeezed my hand so hard. Squeezed my hand so hard. Yeah,
that's
Adrian Peterson.
5 spot. Great pick.
Unbelievable guy. Unbelievable player. Absolutely outstanding. Oh, my gosh. And with my final pick, I'm going to stick with some of the old school guys, and I'm going to go Cadillac Williams.
Auburn. Love that.
Yep.
Speaking of great backfields, and I'm not going to take him, so I'm just going to mention it. Ronnie Brown, also in that backfield. Also,
maybe one of the best sickest nicknames that there is, Cadillac Williams. Guy was an absolute monster. And welcome to Team Boone.
And then I'm going to go with the other Heisman winner here and just stats. He was phenomenal. I'm going to go with Mark Ingram.
Yeah. On my list. Great guy. He, in a lot of ways, it feels like wasn't he the first Alabama Heisman of all time? Or am I making that up?
I don't know on that, but it could be right. That does sound kind of refreshing that you've said that.
But he was one of those guys that was just he really paved the way for what we'd come to see from Alabama running backs. Do we want to keep going or do we want to call it there? Because I've got more stuff to talk about.
Let's call it there.
Yeah.
I think some good names.
Mark Ingram, 2009, was the first Heisman winner, and then led off to another guy that I almost mentioned, but he played for my Colts and was so bad that I can't forgive him. Trent Richardson. That Trent Richardson in Alabama was one of the most dominant players that I've seen. His shimmies, his jukes, everything was incredible.
Yeah.
Who else you got? And then I can clean up with the rest of my list. So I feel like we'll have to cross.
I mean, I do want to mention, I know you're talking about that Arkansas backfield, and then also interesting to compare who has better backfield, Arkansas or that Auburn team with Auburn, Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, or Arkansas who had the three-headed attack there with Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. People forget about. But those three names I had on my list. Another Stanford guy who was just so fun to watch.
On my list. On my list.
Then an absolute stud at Texas, Cedric Benson.
Yep, on my list.
Cedric Benson. And then one guy that was just absolutely electric, played in the Pac-12. Some people don't maybe not remember as much, kind of didn't pan out that well in the NFL, but Jabin Best.
Jabin Best, yes, I was hoping you'd say that.
Another Cal player who I didn't think was as good in college, but some people,
I was high on Jabin Best in college.
Is Marshawn Lynch was also playing at Cal, but I don't remember being super, super exciting in college. I'm sure he was. I definitely didn't see enough of him.
I think he was on the same team with what's the receiver played for the Giants and the Eagles? Fast guy. What's his name? He was one of the first sprinter celebrations that dropped the football too early. Had the kick return on the Eagles against the Giants.
I can't remember it.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Why can't I remember his name? People are screaming at us right now.
Deshaun Jackson?
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson. Dude, so I've got a big list still. Is that all your people? I'm just gonna.
That's it. I kept it short and sweet.
Yeah. See, I once I started writing down names, I was naming dudes over here. Dalvin Cook, unbelievable. Jonathan Taylor, obviously homer pick, but was unbelievable at Wisconsin. I kept writing down a lot of Wisconsin running backs, just like the next guy, Melvin Gordon. People forget when they talk about the Gentry year, Melvin Gordon had similar numbers against the Big Ten. Two guys that or at least I got to see live at South Carolina, Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb. Todd Gurley once said South Carolina was the hardest place to play because he couldn't hear the snap count, standing 3 feet behind his quarterback. This is another guy that I wanted to mention, but I don't know. I'd remember him for his playoff highlights, not necessarily for what he did, but that was Zeke Elliott, just unbelievable player. This was a guy that the next guy, another Wisconsin guy, if I had took stats into account, Monte Ball, I still think he should have won the Heisman that year, even over my own guy with Andrew Luck. Bijan, very recent, unbelievable player. And I've got a couple more here. LaDainian Tomlinson, just worth a shout. I don't remember watching him at Texas Christian, but great. He was
player. Also in the 90s, into the 90s. Yeah. So
okay. Ray Rice, those Rutgers teams, really good. Steve Slayton,
West Virginia.
Yep. A guy that would make it on a lot of other lists like this, but just couldn't put him in my top 5 here. Willis McGahee and Clinton Portis from those Miami teams, unbelievable.
Early. Huh? Yeah, early. Also,
they're both in the 2000s.
Yeah, early. I think they overlapped a little bit, but also Maurice Claret too, the Ohio State guy. I talked to him about him. He was a stud, had some issues, never panned out.
And then the next couple guys are ones that I had kind of forgotten about. Shady McCoy at Pitt, unbelievable. Jonathan Stewart in Oregon, and LaMichael James at Oregon, both were ballers.
Like that.
Ronnie Brown we touched on. Jamal Charles, Texas guy we touched on. Joseph Adai, I didn't realize how good he was at LSU, but unbelievable player. Sean Green, I think from Iowa. And then my last couple, Noshawn Moreno.
Yep, that's a great one. I was thinking him too.
And then my last one, all name team, Beanie Wells.
Ooh, good
Beanie
one.
Wells is just
Where did he play?
Ohio State.
Yes,
Like
yes.
I have very visceral memories of hearing like commentators yell Beanie Wells' name, just being so jacked up about it.
Another one I remember too is D'Angelo Williams had some moments too.
D'Angelo Williams did. I think at Pitt, right?
No, once it was like NC State or something like that.
Was
Weird.
it? Okay.
I'm not sure on that. Let me double check. I want to get my facts right. I don't think it was Memphis.
Memphis.
I knew it was something kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Beat off the beaten path.
Dude, he was a beast for several years there.
Yeah.
Him and Jonathan Stewart back in that Carolina backfield were good, man.
Yeah, for sure. They had a nice dual-headed threat there.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean that's all I got. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to close on.
No, I think if we look forward to next week, we got to do receivers next since the 2000s. That's going to be
might have to be a top 10.
That might have to be a top 10. But yeah, we'll do receivers, and then I mean by the end of next week, we will have live football being played by NFL players or NFL hopefuls, because it'll probably just be third stringers and undrafted guys. But regardless, man, I can't wait.
Me too. Can't wait. Super excited. I got my internet squared away this week.
Yeah, it looks good.
I was on a 3-hour call with AT&T to figure out how to get a new modem, but the situation was solved. But hey, we appreciate everyone that's still watching. We'll be back next week. Really about to dive into the thick of it, really get into the thick of college football and the NFL football as it comes out. But thank you, everybody.
Yeah, peace.